Alrighty, what's going on everybody? I'm Jonathan. This is my Amazon selling channel, Duke Does Amazon. Welcome back. So, hopping into today's video, there's going to be plenty of time and opportunity to talk about all the different types of profit definitions, all the different type of financial and analytics and reports. Again, we're still in the beginner section of this, and I want to focus on two terms that I think everybody really needs to understand, especially early on in the game. I don't want to bombard you with all these different things, but these two are important for a variety of reasons. So in today's video, I want to compare, explain, and kind of break down return on investment and profit margin. I see these two being used interchangeably and incorrectly quite regularly. Now there's a lot of different ways to gauge the health of your business, and by the way, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you have to treat this like a business, and treating it like a business at the core means you need to know the numbers. Okay, you know, if you don't know the numbers, you're just guessing at best. So it's feedback, it allows you to have parameters in your purchasing decision. And it's just so important, just in general. I know that might seem so simple, but you have to know your numbers. And anyway, so I'm gonna also kind of tailor these terms and give examples of how they're used in the Amazon world, which is always gonna be a little unique to the industry. But as a general rule of thumb, return on investment and profit margin are the two, in my opinion, that everyone needs to know to get started. All right, so let's hop in. First, let's talk about return on investment. To me, return on investment is the single greatest or the single most important metric that you need to be familiar with if you're doing retail arbitrage on Amazon, okay? So in a nutshell, what is return on investment? Basically, it is a percentage that gauges your profitability versus your cost of goods. So really quickly, if I spend $1 and I make $1, meaning I get back $2, so I spend $1, I make $1, that's 100% return on investment. If I spend $1 and I get back $5, make $5, that's a 500% return on investment. Just for that example, I would need to get back $6, okay? If I spend $1 and I get back $11, meaning I make $10 profit, that's a 1000% return on investment, okay? Just as very straightforward. The formula is pretty simple. It's your profit divided by cost of goods times 100 to get the percentage. So if I make $10 profit on something that I spent $10 to buy, okay, so $10 profit divided by $10 cost of good, 10 divided by 10 equals 1. Now you multiply it by 100, and that's how you get your 100% return on investment. Another example, if I profit $5 on something that I spent $10 to buy, 5 divided by 10 equals 0.5, times it by 100, 50% return on investment, okay? So that's how you calculate return on investment. Why is it so important? For me, in the most nutshell way possible, it validates the quality of your purchases, okay? When you're early on, especially, if you have a limited budget, use that to your advantage. You can be super selective and strive for very high return on investment items. As a general rule of thumb, for retail arbitrage, I tell everybody strive for a 100% return on investment. Now, that means that for every dollar you spend, you want to make $1 profit. Sometimes you'll make a little bit more, sometimes you'll make a little bit less, but if you strive for that 100%, you're gonna have a healthy business, okay? And I say that to say if you have a small budget, like let's say you're starting off with $500 you could spend on inventory, I would strive for even 200% return on investment because there's so many products available in the world. You can be super selective and get the most bang for your buck. So if you spend $500 and you get 200% return on your investment, that means you've made $1,000 profit, okay? Whereas in some people, you know, as they have bigger and bigger and bigger budgets, naturally your return on investment gets less and less. It's more about making money, not as quality of purchases, because it is very hard to scale 100 and 200% ROI. But especially early on, that's what you should be striving for, at least 100% return on investment. It's very, very doable, okay? So anyway, that's kind of return on investment in a nutshell and why it's such an important metric for you to understand. Profit margin. Profit margin's a little bit different. Also, again, another way to measure the health of your business. But profit margin is more of profit relative to the sales as opposed to profit relative to your cost of goods. So the very simple formula is profit divided by revenue. So here's an example. Let's say I sell something for $50, 50, and on that $50 sales, after everything, I make $10 profit. 10 divided by 50 is 1/5. 1/5 is 20%. So your profit margin on that item would be 20%. Now here's another example. Let's say I sell something for $50 and after all expenses, fees, cost of goods, I profit $5. 5 divided by 50, 1/10. That means 10% profit margin. Okay? So the numbers are very different, but I want to kind of tie in that if you take care of return on investment, your profit margin will fall into place. If you strive for 100% return on investment in Amazon, let's use very simple numbers. You buy something for $1, so you strive to make $1 profit. That means that you typically have to sell that item for $3. And here's the reason why. You pay $1, you sell it for $3. Amazon keeps $1. One of your dollars was your cost of goods. That last dollar is what is your profit. Okay, Amazon takes a nice chunk when they do FBA. The general rule of thumb is 1/3. A lot of times it's less, but if you prepare for the worst, it can only be advantageous for you. Okay, so again, if I buy something for $1, I want it to sell on Amazon for $3. Amazon will keep $1. I get my dollar back and I make $1 profit. Now, if you do that, okay, using that very same example, your profit margin on something that you pay $1 for, that you sell for $3, and you profit $1 on would be 33%. Profit divided by the sale, right? 1 divided by 3. So as you can see, 100% ROI, 33% profit margin. The numbers themselves are drastically different, but it's just two different ways of looking at things, right? So in a nutshell, that brings me to my next point, that if you stick to your 100% return on investment, your profit margin is typically around 30% to 1/3, give or take. Disclaimer, this doesn't count for your supplies, it doesn't account for your subscriptions and your tools, it doesn't account for your taxes. So all of those things considered, you can probably realistically clear, if you say a quarter, 25% of your total sales is realistic profit if you do 100% ROI. Okay, I don't want to dive too much into that today. We'll do a lot of more about the financials and the explanations and reading like what you actually make on Amazon, because I think so many people have no idea what they're making, or they see people post these pictures of I'm doing all these sales and I'm doing all these sales. Well, if they're not quality purchases, sales don't mean anything. That's why return on investment and profit margin is so important. You need to make money. Sales is great because the more sales, the more profit if you do things, if you have quality purchases. But if they're not quality purchases, you're just spinning wheels for no reason. And these two metrics help you make sure that you're on the right path. So these were the two I'd get familiar with. Again, return on investment really helps to make sure that you're making quality purchases, and profit margin kind of lets you know at the end of the day, what are you making relative to your sales, okay? Again, this is broad, but just for a beginner level, it's so important to know those and to not use them interchangeably and to understand them. We'll deep dive at a much later time. So I hope this helps paint the picture a little bit. You gotta know your numbers. You have to know your numbers or you don't know what your business is. And this is a business. If you have any questions about this or anything else, let me know. And before I sign off, if he's next to me, I'm always gonna show love. The Diesel, power napping, and we got Marvin back here, and Jackie in the corner over there. So anyway, guys, take it easy. I'll see you soon, all right? Just gave a thumbs up. Wow. Bye.